Hey everyone, it's Lisa. It's good to be back with you again. Today's project was inspired by an article that I read online. I recently ordered a free trial magazine from Paper Crafts. This one I bought from the store and I liked it, so I thought, well, I'll try the free trial. When I signed up for the free trial, it automatically gave me online access. They have a section in there, and I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's called the Go-To Gals, and they have their contributors, their writers answer a question. So Jennifer McGuire was one of the contributors, and she made this card right here, and I really like the little pumpkin on the card, so I thought I would give it a try. So let me show you my version. This is the card that I made, and all the cut sizes and more details will be on my Stampin' Up blog, which is lmdstampin.stampinup.net, and just go to my blog and you'll see this card. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do it just a little bit different, so I'm going to tell you what I did on this one. This is 4 by 4. And then this piece was originally something like 1 3/4 or something like that by 4. I used the scallop punch to punch out the bottom, and then I cut it down to a 1.5 inch piece of designer series paper, and I wrapped that using the what is it, 3/8 inch stitch satin ribbon that we have. So I may be using that again. I inked the edges on everything, and I will show you how the pumpkin was done. The sentiment I designed on my digital studio. Let's get started. So if you notice on this one, there's way more border. Now I still won't have that much border, but I am leaving a little more. This is our crumb cakes cardstock, one of my favorites to use. And I went ahead and cut these pieces ahead of time. So this is 3 3/4 by 4, and then this piece is 3 3/4 by 1.5, and I used a corner punch to punch all 4 corners instead of putting that scallop border on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and decide about where I want this to be. I pretty much want it centered from top to bottom and side to side. So I'm going to get my snow adhesive and put those together. Got more in frame. So I put a line of adhesive on the bottom edge of that piece, and then on the top edge of this piece. I'm going to just put some adhesive down. Add this to the card. That looks straight. Yeah. Get my paper snips and cut that off. Interesting too. Okay, so I'm going to add this. First of all, let me move all these out of the way. I'm going to add this directly to the card. Oops, it would help if I open that. this is a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inch card. I don't know if I mentioned that already. Okay. So now, for our pumpkin, I'm going to take my 1 3/4 inch circle and cut out 2 circles out of the other side of this designer series paper right here. And then I'm going to take one of the circles and I should end up with, let me see, I think what I want to do is maybe about right there. I'm winging it. So I should end up with 2 half moons, and it's okay if they're not perfectly, perfectly the same size. Pumpkins aren't, they're not all perfect either. So what I want is 2 half moons and a cat's eye. So what I'm going to do is kind of try to figure out about how I want my cat's eye to look, and then go from there. A little more. Oh, well, we'll see how it goes. There you go. I'm going to ink all the edges of these, and I forgot to ink the edges of my designer series paper, but oh well. It's okay, it's okay. So I'm going to take my pumpkin pie, ink all the edges. And actually on the half moons I really only need to do the outside of the circle part, but well, that was way off, but we'll make it work. And then on my cat's eye shape all the way around, and on the circle all the way around. Love these new stamp pads. They are so juicy. And where's my little leaf? I cut out a leaf using the Bird Builder Punch. I just used the wing. And I've inked around the edges already with the Gumball Green Classic ink. Also on this card I used my bone folder to make a little design in the leaf. So I think I will do that again. Let me get my pad. This pad is great for stamping on or using for putting indentations in your flowers that you're making, or like this. Oops. It also goes with our piercing set. I just want to give it a little bit of a leaf design. Again, it's not perfect. And I think I'm going to ink that up just a little more with some Gumball Green. And then the other thing I did was took a little scrap piece of our Natural Composition Specialty Designer Series paper. These are 12 by 12 sheets. And they're really cool. They have a embossing on them. And kind of like, I really like this one. Looks like wood. But we also have the musical notes. And I don't know if you can see the sheen. They all have a sheen to them. I don't know if I showed you that one. I really like that one. They're nice, heavy cardstock. And that's pretty. I think that one shows the sheen very well. And the sheen on this one is on the flowers right here. They're so pretty. And they give such a nice effect to your projects. So for my stem, I had this little scrap piece of the Natural Composition paper and the wood grain looking one, and I just, cut off a little piece. Again, nothing perfect. It's just a stem. I inked that up in the early espresso because I want it to be just a bit darker. Just a little around the edges. Gotta get my neutrals pads and the new ink pads. I'm really liking the new ink pads. Okay. Now I'm going to get my sentiment, decide which one I want. I think I'm going to go ahead and use the So Grateful. And you see I've pre-cut the shape. And just get my paper snips and finish cutting that. Okay, well, that's going to go right about there. It's only going to show a little bit of the ribbon, not a lot. This one showed a bit more because the card or the focal point was, wider. That's alright though. So I'm going to want my sentiment right about there. I'm going to lay out my pumpkin. See how it looks. Sorry, it goes this way. So my half moons, or watch, even this piece will work, even though it's not exactly cut the way I wanted it on the top, but it's okay. There we go. And then I'm going to put my little cat's eye piece right there. My stem is going to go shiny side up, down in there, way down in there. Just a little peeking through. My leaf will be like that. Okay. So now I'm going to get my Stampin' Dimensionals and start putting that together. For me, it was easier just to start from the top and work my way back. Put some dimensionals on the pumpkin. Center. Right in the middle of the card. Just like that. A couple of dimensionals on the sentiment. On this card, you see that I put a little bow. That's a piece of hemp. For this one, I'm going to use our linen thread. So generally, I like to try to do my bows while they're still attached to the roll, whether it's, you know, my ribbon or my linen thread, just to try to save, you know, try to keep from wasting. Okay. I'm going to take a glue dot and add to that. Kind of smush it up back there so it doesn't stick out beyond the bow. And then add that to my pumpkin. Just like that. So there's my card for today. I hope you enjoyed this project, and I look forward to being with you again. Thanks for watching.